Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into a massive, frankly fascinating collision in elite sports. We're looking at historic club identity going head-to-head with the hyper-pragmatic world of modern football management. And right at the very center of this debate, former Chelsea and England captain John Terry. We're going to explore his intense managerial ambitions and really dig into the core question: can deep-rooted club DNA actually still compete with a data-driven modern resume? And honestly, nothing sets the stage quite like this quote. Terry point-blank stated, "You can go and get Pep Guardiola, he's not more Chelsea than me." Talk about a powerful hook, right? It immediately frames his ultimate belief. In his eyes, his 22-year legendary connection to the club, his intimate knowledge of the very fabric of Chelsea, absolutely trumps any external managerial resume, even if that resume belongs to arguably the greatest manager in the world. He genuinely believes that when a club needs stabilizing, that deep, almost spiritual connection is the ultimate qualification. So we have a really stark contrast here between two colliding worlds. Terry's philosophy on interim management relies heavily on his undisputed playing status. He brings that deep club DNA, the ability to instantly galvanize a fractured dressing room, and leadership built on literally decades of absolute respect. But, the pragmatic reality of modern ownership and sporting directors, it's totally different. They strictly demand extensive top-flight managerial CVs, proven tactical experience as a head coach, and the ability to build long-term, data-driven projects. It's just a massive disconnect between what Terry naturally offers and what modern structures demand. But we absolutely have to look at the opposing viewpoint, which was fiercely argued by former club owner Simon Jordan in our source material. He points out a glaring reality: being a great on-pitch leader doesn't automatically translate to being a great manager. Jordan specifically points to the disastrous interim consequences faced by Terry's peers, most notably his former teammate Frank Lampard. The argument here is simple but, brutal. Bringing in a returning legend to hold the fort might sound romantic, but if the team keeps underperforming, it turns into a disaster that can actually damage the legend's legacy. It's the ultimate be careful what you wish for scenario, for sure. Section 1. Tactics, compactness, and rhythm. So, Terry is incredibly critical of the modern obsession with constantly playing out from the back, no matter the pressure. He points to a specific sequence that we see happen all too often. First, there's a split second of indecision by a defender. That forces a panicked pass back to the goalkeeper. Then, the keeper is forced to just boot the ball long. And here's the critical failure. Because the team was originally expanding to play out from the back, that forced long ball suddenly leaves the team 50 to 60 yards open and completely spread out. Terry argues that this single defensive hesitation completely destroys a team's compactness and invites immediate fatal danger. Building on that tactical mindset, Terry firmly believes that defensive rhythm is always greater than constant rotation. In an era where managers are rotating squads left and right to manage workloads, Terry's philosophy is distinctly old school. He argues that a solid, consistent back five, playing week in and week out, is absolutely crucial. Defenders need to build an instinctive rhythm. You need to know exactly what the guy next to you is going to do without even looking at him. Constant rotation completely shatters that defensive intuition. Think about the best defenses you've ever watched. They operate like a single connected organism, and you just don't get that by constantly swapping out the pieces. Section 2. The brotherhood myth versus raw talents. These days, managers talk endlessly about creating the brotherhood, unified camps where everyone is best friends off the pitch. Well, Terry flat out dismisses this as a necessity. He contrasts this brotherhood concept with the elite reality. For Terry, raw talent and better individual players are what actually take you further in huge tournaments. He even brings up a fascinating historical anecdote to prove it, mentioning elite players like Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham. They notoriously did not speak to each other off the pitch, yet they continuously won trophy after trophy together at Manchester United. Terry's takeaway? Professional tension doesn't matter one bit if the raw talent and drive to win are there. You don't need to be friends, you just need to perform. Section 3. The coaching path reality. Unlike some of his legendary peers who demanded a head coach job the minute they retired, Terry took a structured, really humble approach. He actively chose to learn the ropes as an assistant coach at Aston Villa. He avoided jumping straight into a #1 spot because he felt he needed to truly understand the mechanics of coaching first. But here's the massive irony of the whole situation. That patience has completely backfired. By doing what he thought was the right, humble thing, he's currently being penalized by owners for lacking direct, primary, #1 experience. And the cost of that cautious path really comes down to one staggering number: 3. Yeah, Terry revealed that he's interviewed for 3 separate managerial positions and, in his own words, got nowhere near it. He was explicitly told he had no experience to be a number 1. You can literally feel the sheer frustration and disbelief in this quote. I mean, here is a man who successfully led Chelsea dressing rooms for 22 years, galvanizing some of the absolute biggest egos in world football, winning every trophy available. Yet, because his title was captain and not manager, modern sporting directors look at his resume and just see a blank page. His unparalleled playing experience is essentially being completely overlooked in the modern hiring matrix. Which leaves us with a final, pretty provocative question to ponder. Based on John Terry's struggles to break into the top tier of management despite his massive status, is the era of the club legend manager just dead? Have we reached a point in modern football where the romantic notion of historic club DNA and sheer leadership aura has been completely replaced by the strict demand for a data-driven tactical architect? It's a fascinating shift in the sporting landscape, and it really makes you wonder if we'll ever see a player simply walk into a top job purely on the weight of their legendary status ever again. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll leave you to think on that.